All right, guys, in today's video, we're going to look at three players, not Jordan, not Kobe, not LeBron, but three other players, Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson, and Shaquille O'Neal. We're going to check in on their card prices with the help of my affiliate partner, Card Ladder. We're going to check out their indexes over the last 6 months, generally discuss how their cards look to be doing and the constituent cards in their index, and then we'll look at a couple of cards in particular for each of these players, including a rookie card and then a non-base card, and we'll sort of check in on the card prices and just take a quick peek, quick glimpse just to see how these three guys are doing in the market. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you've got a bunch of unwanted inventory that you've been sitting on for days, weeks, months, years, ship it to Fanatics Marketplace and let them do all the work. Just make sure when you ship it, you use the promotional code Cajun, all capital letters, C-A-J-U-N. Hey guys, Bryan with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. I wish I could do more videos on non-Jordan stuff, but it's Jordan that interests me. So today's going to be one of those non-Jordan videos. And so if you're a Tim Duncan card collector, if you're one of the 7 Tim Duncan collectors in the world, or if you're an Allen Iverson collector who's got a very large collector base, probably bigger than Duncan's, or if you collect the Diesel, the Big Cactus, Shaquille O'Neal, today's video is for you. We're just going to take a quick general peek at the indexes for these three players, look at a couple of their cards, see if we can make any sense of it, and just get a better feeling for what's going on in the player pricing market for these three particular all-time great players. Let's start with Tim Duncan. All right, Tim Duncan, over the last 6 months, I've got this pulled up on Card Ladder. For those of you that don't know, Card Ladder is my only data pricing tool of choice. It's got so much more than just the sales history of the cards. You can use these cool things, which we're using today, called indexes, where they compile data based on all of the Tim Duncan cards that are included in their database. You can see this index is comprised of 202 total cards, so we've got a pretty healthy, robust, as they like to say, index quantity of cards in that index. It looks like Tim Duncan is down 8.85% over the last 6 months. And that's what this chart's indicating right here. It looks like it's down like 100%, but again, this chart is just dipping from 4,900 to 4,400, somewhere around there, as far as his low value and high value. You can also look at the sales volume. These high spikes that you're going to see for pretty much any player that you use, those are usually going to be Sundays when Fanatics ends, or when a lot of the business is being transacted on eBay. Saturday and Sunday is where most of the eBay auctions end as well. But Tim Duncan looks to be down over the last 6 months about 8.85%. If we scroll out and look at the all-time chart, it's going to look like every other player's all-time chart. 2021 is going to look like a big, fat, juicy middle finger pointing straight to your face. Tim Duncan was no exception. I remember the Topps Chrome Refractor Duncan in 2021 going absolutely ballistic. We may peek in on that in just a second. And then over the last 2 years, he's sort of taken a beating as well, down 15%. Over the last 6 months, about half that, down 8.85%. Let's look at a couple of Duncan cards. We'll start with his flagship rookie, right? This is not going to be the sexiest card in the world. There's a lot of other great Tim Duncan cards out there to collect. Just like most people don't collect Michael Jordan rookies, most people don't really collect Tim Duncan rookies either. From 1997, of course, him and Tracy McGrady were the two big headliner rookies in 1997, along with some others that never really panned out quite to the extent that Tim Duncan and Tracy McGrady did. But this is his base PSA 10. Huge, huge pop, high pop card, 2,469 PSA 10s. You can see it's been graded over 12,000 times. So not quite Zion, not quite Morant, not quite Luka Doncic, not quite Anthony Edwards level of production, but they printed a lot of 1997 Topps Chrome cards, and that was the second year of Topps Chrome. 2,469 PSA 10 bases. Over the last 6 months, that card is down 16% with some undulation here, right? Because not all 10s are the same. Over the last 1 year, that's down 12%. Over the last 2 years, it's down. This is no aberration. This is a very consistent downward trend, down 41.67%, 259 sales. That is a very healthy quantity of sales price points to gauge from. So the 1997 Topps Chrome Tim Duncan, just too many printed. too many available, too much supply. Demand has been relatively stagnant. He's not in the news. He's not getting in fights at nightclubs. He's not coaching. He's not saying things. He's not even on talk shows or anything like that. I think he likes to smoke weed and chill. So, and I thought he was an assistant coach with the Spurs, but I might be wrong. Maybe he was just a consultant or something like that. Somebody who collects Tim can chime in. This is pound for pound, not pound for pound. This is pure and simple my choice for the greatest power forward that ever lived, period. That he is my choice over Barkley, over Garnett, over McHale, over Karl Malone, over all of them. Tim Duncan was the greatest power forward that ever lived on paper, for sure. That's just my choice. I have him very difficult to distinguish with Kobe Bryant on my all-time list, somewhere in that 8 to 12 range, those two guys. The next Tim Duncan card we're going to look at, is going to be his refractor, because his refractor rookie is going to tell a little bit different story, but it ain't much better, right? So his refractor rookie card over the last 2 years is down 42.86%. This is only a pop 106 card, so unlike the 12,000 that have been graded, 800 have been graded. Now we're talking about a very shrunken, reduced population of cards. His PSA 10 last sold right here in this month, December 5th, that's my dad's birthday, $3,600. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not my dad's birthday. It's December 10th. $3,600, which was pretty much almost the lowest sale of the last 11 sales over the last 2 years. If we look at the all-time chart, what do you know? It's that same middle finger. And again, as I mentioned, this was a $20,000 card in 2021. Actually, it was a $26,000 card in 2021. To see it today, it's sort of languishing in the 3,500 mark. Maybe too far, man. Maybe too much. Maybe that card's backed up too much. Now, here's the one thing about this card. You guys know what I'm about to say. All PSA 10s are not the same. If we go look at view all sales and we look at them recently, look at how green some of these are going to be compared to others, right? And so each one, you're going to just have to look at each individual card to see if it's green, if it's got great clarity, terrible clarity. That looks yellow, looks like a gold parallel. So be really careful when you're looking at refractors, especially from 96, 97, and 98. All right, next on our list, we're looking at a guy named Allen Iverson, probably the littlest dude you've ever seen. Guy played in the NBA for a bazillion years and weighed about 175 pounds. Allen Iverson's faring much better than Tim Duncan, and I will aver, and you guys can back me up on this, or you can feel free to disagree with me in the comments. I think Iverson's got a bigger collector base than Tim Duncan, despite being a fraction of the player. And again, no disrespect to Allen Iverson. He is not even remotely in the same conversation as Tim Duncan as far as what his NBA accomplishments were or how he went about accomplishing what he did accomplish. Tim Duncan is in a completely different stratosphere than Allen Iverson. That being said, Allen Iverson's very collectible for very obvious reasons. One of the most electrifying scorers. He was the little guy that everybody wanted to root for. He was tough as hell. He had some serious hardship going from high school to college, and then ended up getting over that, turned his life around, thanks in large part to his college coach, John Thompson at Georgetown. And it was an incident in a bowling alley where he may or may not have made some bad decisions. Who knows? We don't know, right? But coming out of Virginia, same area as Michael Vick, Allen Iverson overcame his stuff and ended up being an absolute otherworldly, incredible NBA Hall of Famer. Up 3.54% over the last 6 months. So very much better than Tim Duncan is. If we look at the last 2 years, he's going to tell a similar story, down 31%. Again, there's not very many players from the 90s who have weathered the storm like Michael Jordan has, right? Like Michael Jordan cards have. Over the last 1 year, down 9%. So you can see that big fall from grace has happened, and now he's starting to settle. He's actually starting to move a little bit. Over the last 6 months, up 3.54%. Over the last 3 months, flat as a fritter with a little bit of undulation in there, depending on whether a big card sells or doesn't. Let's look at his 96 Topps Chrome. So just 1 year before Tim Duncan, same exact product, same exact card. This is a Pop 715, so you can see they printed significantly fewer. Half, right? Does that sound familiar? Hint, hint, Panini. They have graded 5,828. Base Allen Iverson have been graded. Remember, we saw over 12,000 Tim Duncan's been graded, which leads me to the conclusion, with not much scientific research being done, that they printed probably half in 1996. They doubled it in 97, and then who knows in 98. But 5,800 graded, only 715, right? There was a ton more Tim Duncans, but Iverson, again, not the player that Duncan was. $600 for his base chrome PSA 10. That's what it's done over the last 6 months. It's actually up 13% over the last 6 months. If we look at over the last 2 years, it's going to get ugly. I'm just warning you, down 25%. Not as bad as I suspected. Over the last 3 months, we've seen enough sales to make a decision. Up 31.58%. Again, got to look at each individual card to see how it looks, because even the base ones get a little bit green, to be quite honest with you. The next card we're going to look at is going to be his refractor, okay? So we're following the same trend as with the Tim Duncan, because chrome is chrome and refractor is the highly sought after parallel. Check out the pop on this, guys. Pop 36. We're talking about a whole nother level of rarity here. 36 refractor 10 Iversons out there. How many of the 36 are green? That's my question, because if you find a perfect color clarity one, you can do really, really big numbers. As you can see, the last clean one sold for $11,610, $612. That is, what did we see? Double what the Tim Duncan sold for. Where was Tim Duncan? There we go. That is way, way beyond more. That's almost, that's over triple what the Tim Duncan refractor sold for, okay? And again, that's a factor of population. There's no doubt about that. That's a factor of population. Pop 106 and Pop 36. And it's also a factor of demand, because like I said, Iverson's in more demand than Tim Duncan in the hobby card market, no question about it. The card did drop from 12.55 to 11.6. Wonder what this one's done over the last 2 years, down 43%. I wonder if we're going to get a middle finger to the face, and yes, not surprisingly, $49,000. So that's a little disturbing. Actually, $61,000 at some point. Someone paid $61,000. So it's a 6-for-1 discount right now. $61,000 for a Pop 36 Allen Iverson chrome refractor PSA 10. We're almost putting 2021 in the rearview mirror. You know, we got to just keep doing these videos, and eventually we'll be able to flush it, and we'll be 10 years out, and I don't even know if I'll be doing this in 10 years. God willing, I will be, but then we'll be done with it. So that's it for Iverson. You're looking at 11,000. You're looking at a 5-figure card for his refractor PSA 10. Shaquille O'Neal, faring very differently than Duncan, who was down significantly on his index over the last 6 months, over the last 3 months. This is the Shaquille O'Neal index over the last 3 months, up 14.74%. That's impressive. Over the last 2 years, guys, he's actually beating the market. He is up 9.31% over the last 2 years, Shaquille O'Neal. Let's look at his probably most recognizable base card. Remember, there's the trade card variation as well, but this is the true base. Only a Pop 354. A billion of them have been graded. Yes, I exaggerate a little bit, but 25,000 is a lot. No, so 25,000 have been graded, which means 100,000 were printed. Maybe 500,000 were printed. Shit, I don't know. But this one is a 2% gem rate, and it is a Pop 354. This base Shaq rookie is a $2,000 card based on the last sale. The last 2 sales have both been up from a bottom of $1,560. That was the lowest in the last 6 months. Over the last 2 years, up 28%. This card's up 28% over the last 2 years. That's impressive. This is going to get ugly. There's your middle finger. There's your highest price ever paid, $5,400. So 2.5 times what this base PSA 10 is worth today. But it looks to be trending in the right direction. I can speak from experience. I've graded probably 12 to 15 of these. I've never got a 9. It's 8s and below on every single one. It's just black everywhere, edges, corners, front and back, no way around it. Just a tough card to grade. And then the non-rookie card we're going to look at, we looked at the refractor rookie of Iverson. We looked at the refractor rookie of Tim Duncan, and I just arbitrarily chose the Beam Team rookie for Shaquille O'Neal, depending on how you feel about inserts being technically defined as rookie cards. I think it's a rookie card, but this would be the rookie card that I would choose to collect for Shaquille O'Neal if, in fact, it does meet your personal definition of rookie card. There's 129 of these out there. If we look at the pop report, believe it or not, there's been 4,855 beam teams graded. We tend to think that, inserts are rare and, there's not that many of them out there. Well, 4,855 is a pretty big number for an insert, but it is early year insert. But look how small that number dwindles to when you talk about PSA 10s, right? 4% gem rate. There's 130 of them. This is a $5,000 card, and it is a freight train. This card is moving, guys. 40.57% up. This is a card that sold 7 times over the last 6 months. 40.57%. Somebody got into this card for $3,200. The last one sold for $4,900. That's big returns right there. If we look at it over the last year, it's down. So this one came down and back up even within the last year, but over the last 2 years, it's still up. So weird stuff going on. Up, down, and then now heavily on the way back up. In fact, the last PSA 10 Beam Team Shaquille O'Neal that sold was the 3rd highest selling of the last 21 sales over the last 2 years. What about all time? Middle Finger City, probably more than any, 16,000. I know for a fact that I bought one for 10,000 and sold it for 6,000. So, in a private deal. So that is my history with this Shaquille O'Neal Beam Team card. When I decided to get out of my Shaq collection and push my chips all in on Michael Jordan hierarchy stuff, I took an ass whipping on the Shaquille O'Neal. Of course, I bought not at the peak, thank God, because that was $15,000, but I bought somewhere around here in, yeah, you heard it, that actually might be mine right there, Fanatics Vault. I don't know. I bought it in 2021, so very few cards that you bought in 2021 are going to fare very well in 2024, but there are out there. They are out there. So that's what that Shaq Beam Team looks like. So 3 card indexes, 3 different stories, 3 guys that we don't get, you know, they don't get enough attention. I wish I could do more videos on the Ray Allens, on the Grant Hills, on the Olajuwons, the Ewings, the Barkleys, the Vince Carters, the Dirks, and stuff like that. I just don't have enough time in the day. My calendar is getting filled more and more with scheduled content that I am actually getting compensated for making. So it's hard for me to put that on the back burner so I can do more Dirk videos. But it is well, I'll make this. I'll do this for the year 2025. I'm going to make a concerted effort to do more videos about folks like, you know, Shaq and Duncan and Iverson, Olajuwon, those kind of guys that I don't get a chance to do, and I haven't had a chance to do much of in the year 2004, because I am curious and I do like to keep an update on those prices. And I do think there are investments to be made in players other than Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, you know, and fill in the blank. I think there are definitely moves that can be made, and Shaq's a pretty good example of that with this Beam Team card, and even with his rookie card rising in his index, rising over the last year, 6 months, 3 months, etc. So there are moves to be made out there if you're an investor type, and there are certainly, you know, these videos are certainly going to be well received by the folks that actually do PC these guys. I'm sorry I can't do more. I'm going to make a concerted effort in the year 2025 to do more non-Jordan stuff. Focus on some of the other dudes out there in the 90s. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. Let me know what stood out to you. I know I could have looked at a million different cards, right, of each of these players. I'm sorry, I had to pick 6. Otherwise, the video would take forever. But I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what cards of Iverson, Duncan, and Shaquille O'Neal that you have in your collection that you're proud of. Let me know which of their cards that you've seen that are doing really well in the market right now that I did not get a chance to highlight and had to take a back burner today. If you got any cards out there of these 3 guys that you think are exceptional cards that are rising in value and you got the numbers to prove it, put it in the comments and share it with the viewers on the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.